With so much software available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 15 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. What if I said there was software available out there that every time a guest lands on your listing on an OTA, a pop-up shows the viewer an enticement if they book direct with you, a discount code, free breakfast. And what if I said there was a button on that pop-up that took the viewer to your website booking page? Well, you may want to call it a book direct genie. And today I'm talking to its creators. Today I'm chatting with Matt and Luke, who will explain what Cherry does. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey, Deb. How are you?
Good. Thanks. Thanks for joining me. We've got the Aussie connection going on in this series, in this session.
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm going to launch straight into it. Can one of you please tell me, what does Cherry do in one sentence?
So Cherry is essentially a browser pop-up. So it pops up for the user on their computer and will show them the best or the best offer or the best deal when they're searching for a property on a OTA's website.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a property manager and I want to get involved in this. What do I do to start the ball rolling with Cherry?
Pretty simple, Deb. Really, you go to joincherry.com and on there's a nice big button that says register your property. And we've made it super simple for a property to be able to register. It's 3 steps. You enter your property details. You provide the offer that you're incentivizing people to come direct with. And you choose the channels that you want to be available on. So okay. We have about 9 different OTA channels available at the moment. You can be on all or one or whichever.
Yeah. In terms of putting your listing information on there, are you talking about a URL or do you have to actually upload the photos, upload the description and all that sort of thing?
So property details is just literally your property name, your address, phone number, just basic information. No photos really required. We capture all of that for you. And then, so then when you select the channels that you wish to be available on, you then upload your Expedia URL, your booking.com URL, your GoTo URL, etc.
Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to figure out how do you get connected like that? Perfect. Okay. That's pretty straightforward. Nice. So then the second half of that whole transaction is the guest. So what does the guest then have to do to find you? How do they get that pop-up?
Yeah, so if we take the example of us right now, we're all on our desktop computer. We all use different types of browsers. So we've got Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or a Microsoft Edge. So you would go to, similar like you would go to your Apple App Store on your phone. You go to the Chrome browser store or the Safari browser store, and you just search for Join Cherry, and there'll be a big install button. And you're essentially just installing the browser extension on your browser. Mm-hmm. And so then anytime you go to booking.com and you search for a particular property that's registered with Cherry, bam, the pop-up will trigger and we'll show you whatever deal or offer the property has at that time.
Mm-hmm. Let's rewind it a little bit. Given that it's a Techsplained series, can you explain what is an extension? We all deal with extensions, but what exactly is an extension?
Yeah, so an extension, I guess, is a small piece of software that sits on your browser. Mm-hmm. And really, you can then have it do whatever you want to do from there. So our Join Cherry extension here is a pop-up that pops up on certain links based on the properties that we've got. Now, there's other browser extensions, again, small pieces of software that users can install to get different experiences all across the web.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how are you getting word out to guests to hear about you?
Yeah, so we've got
Matty.
we've got a huge marketing campaign in market right now. So we've obviously got our own social and digital programs running. We're also doing a lot of work with travel influencers, particularly in the Australian New Zealand market right now. We've got sort of 20 or 30 influencers who are curating content to their communities and audiences, telling them about Cherry, the benefits of it, and how to actually download and use it. We're doing partnerships with a range of different brands, and obviously then we're working with also the properties and the hotel accommodation brands who are actually signing up to Cherry to get out to their audiences as well.
Yes, it sounds like something you might want to put on your website. As a property manager, get it on your website because it's a nice thing to share with guests.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So, and obviously most properties, their game is to drive as many direct bookings as possible, right? And avoid paying those nasty commissions to the OTAs. So it's a very easy thing for them to be able to use to be able to do that. Yeah,
I'm just going to sidetrack out of the usual questions, because one question that I'm busting to ask is, how is this legal? Surely the OTAs are on your case and they're, trying to shut you down. How is this working?
Well, look, it's 100% legal. I'll firstly start by saying that. So we don't do anything to touch or infringe upon any IP that any OTA owns. So we don't scrape any code, we don't scrape any content or anything like that from any of their sites. Our application, as Luke says, sits within every individual person's actual browser. So there's nothing illegal about it. Would they be happy about it? Well, I'm not going to speak for them. I'd imagine they won't be happy about it, but at the same time, it's I guess we're disrupting that space, right? So OTAs have had a monopoly in this space for quite some time, and have imposed many of their own interesting restrictions on properties. So we're trying to disrupt that space.
Yep, that's fair enough. So I was going to ask you, what is your unique selling point? But I think you're pretty unique already.
Well, I think we've covered that one.
Yeah. I actually think
if I can just say what people are talking about us as, I guess what we're doing is we're hijacking a user out of a OTA environment and bringing them to the direct property. So I think that's the best way to describe it. So someone will be searching on one or multiple OTAs, and the Cherry app will fire. We then hijack that person away from that environment and take them to the property's direct site.
I think entice might be a better word. Entice, lure them away with a better offer, of course. So why use your product? Well, that's pretty straightforward. Use your product to get the direct bookings. So you don't actually have any part of the booking process at all. You are literally putting the guest and the manager together. So the manager literally runs with a direct booking, full control, right?
Correct. So when that pop-up occurs on the user's browser or the customer's browser, when they click the Book Now button from that page, we're driving the guest far into the booking experience. So we've got, all the way down the funnel, so that then the booking is fully maintained as a direct booking with the property.
Just out of interest,
no integration. No integration required with any PMS system or channel manager or anything. So it's a very seamless sort of setup for a property.
So basically, actually, that Book Now button, you have to put the URL, or no, how does it go to the booking? The URL from your website, you have to put that in when you register.
Yeah. So when a property registers with us, we grab all of their details, as Matt said earlier, including their booking engine URL normally. And then we pass the code and the dates all the way through, so the user doesn't have to start again once they get to the property's homepage.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering of course, guests are going to be looking on the OTAs. Now they've landed on your listing, they're having a good read, looking at all the photos. At what point does Cherry pop up? How long into sitting on that listing page? Can you adjust it, or is it a standard thing? And how long before it does pop up?
Yeah, so it's a very quick process. So it varies depending on, I guess, the internet speed of each user. But normally, as soon as that page has loaded, 1 or 2 seconds after, the pop-up occurs.
Okay. Well, it still gives them time. They're on the page. They're still going to look at the property on that page.
Correct. So the pop-up sits there just sort of on the right-hand side. They can still scroll down the page as normal, but they're just prompted with that pop-up there with the offer. They can obviously close it down if they'd like, but it's not a full page intrusive experience.
Yeah. So in terms of your target audience, it's pretty much anyone. It's actually anyone in the accommodation industry. It's actually vacation rentals and hotels, anyone. So actually, can you just share, what are the listing sites that you're on, just so we can get an idea of the scope of accommodation providers that would be on these listing sites?
Yeah, sure.
These OTAs.
Yep. So we got booking.com, Expedia, Agoda, hotels.com, What If. Very shortly, in the next week, we'll have Airbnb available. We'll have Trivago available, and there's hotels combined as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So all of the main ones, the ones that are going to really be 95% of most properties are already live, and then we're adding the remainder as we go. Yeah.
Now, in terms of, you rattled off a lot of Australian places before. Are you only in Australia, or this browser, extension can be used anyone, anywhere, correct?
Absolutely. So we are live in Australia and New Zealand right now. We are just bringing on properties throughout Southeast Asia, through Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, etc. And then July 1, we're launching into Canadian market. So we've got about nearly 400 properties that we're launching with in the Canadian market, and we'll be closely following that into the US market in the second half of the year. And then, we'll continue to expand from there. Obviously, we want to cover most markets eventually, but probably that North American market is our priority focus for the second half of this year for now.
Okay, that's fine. People can keep tabs. And what if they try and register and you're not in Europe, for example? If I have a property in France, can't get on board?
No, well, you can actually. There's nothing stopping a property from registering anywhere in the world. I guess we won't be doing consumer marketing from the consumer side to get people downloading it in the European market at this stage. That will be the only caveat.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now,
so I guess for outbound international travel, for Australians or Americans traveling to Europe, they will still be able to benefit from that though as well.
Okay, let's just get the word out. Come on. It's a free extension for the guests. How much does it cost the manager to be part of this?
Luke?
Yeah, so we've gone down the route of no commissions. So for properties, it's $79 a month, a subscription fee, and that gives them up to 500 leads or 500 clicks from an OTA to their direct site. If they cross over that threshold, they jump up to $149 on our second tier plan, which gives them up to 5,000 leads or clicks. And then for the bigger properties that are getting more than that, we then have a enterprise level one that goes over 5,000 clicks.
Fantastic. That's great. So then to join Cherry and to be involved, do you have to sign a contract, or is it, okay, I want to be part of it for this month, or and not anymore after that? Is there a contract to sign?
Well, there is an agreement that you sign when you actually register. Absolutely. So, but it's not a 12-month contract or anything like that. It's 60 days out. So, so you can basically terminate that contract at any point with 60 days out.
Yeah, well, that all sounds good. That's really good. Okay, we've come to the end of the questions, the usual Techsplained questions. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Anything we haven't touched on?
Look, I guess this is a unique product, right? So we think it's pretty innovative. We don't think that there's anything else like it around. And really, it's been built to help accommodation properties to be able to drive direct bookings. instead of fighting the fight of trying to compete with the OTAs with their marketing power. For the first time, we think accommodation properties now have the opportunity to install something for as low as $79 a month and be able to really make a difference. And already in a couple of months that we've been live for, properties have seen huge benefit. So
that's great. That's really
go
great.
to joincherry.com.
Yeah. Well, if anyone has any questions for Luke or Matt or Cherry, pop them in the description, in the comments below. I'll put a link for Cherry in the description as well. And thank you so much for coming along today and explaining Cherry. Really good. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, speak soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.